I'm International Master Minh and now I'm playing a rapid game, normally 10 minutes. And then I show you my thinking process, how I make a move there, how can I formulate a plan, and simply share some lessons and some advices on how to better at this sport. Sure? Okay, so let's start the game. And okay, be ready to ask questions for sure if you want to. 10 minutes. And now time is up and let's go. Okay, now, wait a second, I got so strong, guys. I got someone so strong. 2000. Okay, and he bought it. It's not my fault, right? He bought the game. New one. Okay, now I'm get some Filipino opponent. Hercules. Hercules. Okay, guys, now what do you want to see? Nadorf, Sicilian, or elephant or something? What do you want to see? I think we'll just e5 maybe. I mean, like, okay, we got King's Gambit. Actually, I can play the Alekin, but that is super rare in the highest level, Andy. Although I want to, like, be a good servant for you, but I mean, I think it's super rare. And also, I need to mention that I don't really like my Alekin. I can say that. Now we got a King's Gambit. Okay, I will go for main line maybe. Let's take the pawn, yes. Map 3, I mean, I think we'll play main line. main line, probably it is. Knight f6. Let's play the main line. I mean, like, kind of like this variation for black. I think if you play correctly, so black have no trouble at all after this thing. Bishop c4. I must say that I never see this earlier in my life. The thing right now, I know he want to like developing the bishop to good squares that can put pressure on this pawn, but now I simply thought that I can take the pawn here. Since now d5 is always threatened, I mean always is a move I can play to deal with this move, right? So I don't think I'm really scared for this move. d3. It's not over yet, obviously. d3. It's not so clear as well. I mean, like, now we're getting something so weird so early in the game. Okay, let's go for endgame. I mean, this is always a very good thing to play in this position. Now we're going for endgame. We're going for an endgame. And that basically, I mean, basically now our king lost the castles. But we're up a pawn and we also have the bishop here. Alright? To start with this position, I want to play e6 first. Why? Since I want to play bishop e6 next. But he can chase my bishop with knight g5. That's why I need to spend a tempo on this e6 move. Now, okay, you see this position? I mean, the king is like a bit weak for sure, but at the same time, he can have any way to attack me. And the thing is that, I mean, I have bishop pair here that normally guarantee me to have a 5 position. c6. This one seems a bit strange as well, but this idea of the move is trying to prevent this knight c3 to get active. King c8. Feel free to ask any question when you want to. But this game is getting weird actually, really early in the opening. I can try to tell you like what can happen then and about the main lines for sure. One king c7. King c7 will get the king into the deep, like the diagonal of the bishops. And normally you want to get the king out of that diagonal for sure. h4. Knight d7. Time to bring my knight up, exchanging pieces and enjoying the pawn up. King e7. King e7 left your bishop getting blocked. That's why. I know right now we need some time to consolidate our pieces. But at the same time, so the pieces of my opponent got no way to get in. Rook d1 is fine. But I can simply, now I can simply defend. This one, right? He wants to play rook d8. Sure? So simply play bishop e7. Defending the mid here. Also, we can want to play something like bishop h4, g3. Good move by him. Actually, I'm talking about endgame, so I will try to go for complete endgame. Rook d8. Rook d8. Why I can go to this position? The thing is that he got no way to threaten my pieces. Although we are a bit passive right now, and also the thing is that we have a pawn here, and we got a safe and solid position. You understand? You cannot trade the bishop for this knight, since you will get the opposite color bishop ending, and that is not a good sign for you. Mostly it ends in a draw. How can you develop your rook on a8? I will push this pawn really soon. King b7 maybe, and get the bishop out. e5. A good move by him. Right now what he wants to do is that he wants to play this move. This is a nice move by him. A nice move by my opponent. I need to say that. You need to give credit for your opponent whenever he plays some good moves. That's me. Bishop e7, but I'm not so scary for that. Like the knight here, I can go like king c7, rook d8. But nothing to do with me, king c7. And get rook out. Like right now, although it seems to be a bit passive, but white gets nothing to attacking us. That's why I simply, tell you guys. I don't really mean that, bro. Actually, I still got a lot of things to say in the endgame. But suddenly, he give me a free pieces, and then he's like, oh my shit. He resigned the game right away. That's funny. I never mean to do this. Okay guys, now feel free to ask questions right now. I will try my best to answer everything. The game end like unexpectedly, so I will try my best to explain all the things right now. Sure? Let's go here. So e4, e5. f4. It is the king's gambit. Yes, that's how Dania always compliments me, since I always make some mistakes after that. Okay. Can we challenge you? I don't even think I will play a game. That may be my only one. I want it to last longer, but my opponent somehow, he wants to start that right away, I guess. Is always good to accept Gambit? Nice question, actually. The thing is that it depends on your style of playing. If you are a guy who want to play some complex position, who are ready for some really complicated battles, who can learn the opening, accepting the gambit is fine. Normally, what I want to say is that normally you're not going to accept the gambit if you don't want to learn opening. I mean, gambit is a thing that allow your opponent to sacrifice one pawn or two pawn, but for the sake of the pawn, for the price of that, he simply gets some development initiative. When you accept the gambit, you need to know how to deal with that carefully. If not, so you might end up in trouble, right? That's what I want to say first. Is the declining by d6 fine though? No. D6 actually is a better way to defend this position. The thing is that, I mean like right now, so you suddenly get a bit passive. White can continue knight 3 and c4 castling here, and now you don't have this move anymore. And I see ton of game this variation, and I know that white is simply much better. Much better, I can say. Normally the main line is this e4, knight 3, and now here comes the question here. Things like this. Now, okay, good question, Matt. I will try my best to explain that after some opening stuff. Here, so, now black gets some move to play here. Normally, if you want to stick to the pawn, I mean, you can play g5. You can play knight c6. You can play, you know, like, even like knight f6. But knight f6 is known to be a bad move. Knight f6 is known to be a bad move, I can say that. So, okay, now the best move here is g5 if you want to defend the pawn for sure. But, normally, here so we can give him back the pawn by the move d5. Actually, my move in the game is bad. Actually, I forget that he can simply play e5 here. e5 here. And now, actually, one moment. Oh, no. No, knight 4 is fine. I think I missed something wrong here. So knight 6 is variation and if an h5. This is also a 5 variation for black. I know that. I read that from the book actually. I forget the book. One moment. Let me try to find that. Back here right away. This one. Do you see the book right now? One moment. Let me try into, okay, it's recording this one. See this? Actually, I mean, this one is, I think Anatolis is like, I think he is not someone so strong. But this book is very, very, I can say, with good quality for black. I can say that. This is a book for black, actually. And this one is a thing I learned a lot from this. There are tons of things good for black here. So I recommend you, if you play and you have some trouble to meet e4, this belongs to you. If you want to play e4, e5, this really belongs to you. I can say that. It really belongs to you. Yes, the book is super good. I can say super good. I mean, if you really want to trick your opponent, you can play something like this one, maybe like f4, and then you play like knight c5 as well, and you wish that you can play this. And this is so funny, right? But obviously my opponent is like 1800. He must know knight 3 here, and this is something that I don't really like for black. Although this is playable as well. Although this line is playable as well, but this is not my favorite. That's why. And this is the king gambit. Yes, it is. So in the game I take here. So now actually the best move, I think, one moment, let me read that for you guys to, I will read out loud for you guys to hear. One moment. Okay, here is this. Okay, so for the book, so what it read, okay, one moment. Okay, here we are. No, it's not that. Where is that? Okay, it's for knight 3, knight 3. Okay, here in the book it gives knight 6 an exclamation mark. The sharp defense. The exclamation mark is for the practical value of this move. It is a rare choice, so white players are unlikely to know it as well as in main lines, and it offers black at least equality in own lines, without the need to learn much theory. That is what the book authors say. I can say that. So now in white may respond with knight c3 and e5. e5 is known to be not so strong. e5 knight 5 is fine here. So knight 5 is exclamation mark. As we saw in the bishop's gambit session, the knight stands quite nicely in h5. From this position, black can obtain a fully equal game with a defensive scheme that takes literally 5 minutes to learn. The idea here is that we're gonna play d6 and like this one. Normally this is the way to play for black. Also the scheme. Thank you Antia for that. So knight c3 is another line. Knight c3 here we are. Knight c3 d5 exclamation mark. And this one is known to be the most natural and energetic move. Take here is fine for you. And bishop c4, you can simply play this. And knight c3 and you got a fine position. Obviously d5 is fine as well. d5 is also a move here in this position. Since right now if white captures here, you can simply transfer to the Shalov with this move. But now you also need to know the Abbazia. This one is known to be the Abbazia defense. It's also a variation as well. But I tend to follow the book recommendation, since it gives black I think pretty good play and it doesn't require you a lot of effort to learn. What if e5 after d5? The thing is right now is that d5 right now and e5 is not something you need to scary. Now you can simply play c5 here as well, and you got a nice position. Play this one next and bishop to like g4, knight e7 here and bishop e7. I think this one gives you a fine development for sure. The thing is that you need to know about the King's Gambit is that is the variation that white want to open up everything. He wants to finish his development and he simply wants to go for the fast assault against the black king. By e5 simply he slowed down his attack, he helps black to close the e-file, and simply it really slowed down all the things. Hey, nice to see you as well. So d5 is also a move you want to know as well if you want to know. But this is like another variation, which is called Abbazia variation. Yeah, it may be fuck beer, I don't know what to say. But okay, it's fine as well. You can play anything available if you want to. So, okay, in the game play the f6. Since I read the book earlier, I can say that most of my variation coming from this one. Most of my variation coming from this book, I can say. This one is pretty good. For you guys who want to learn opening, this is pretty good. What about g5? Good question as well. But this thing is the thing you need to accept. In this variation, you need to know this line, which is kind of dangerous. This one, which is quite dangerous. You need to know a lot of variation and you need to understand the theory, which is by no means easy. Yeah, queen f6 is the main line, and then something like d3, I think d3 here, and then I think like this move maybe, knight c3 here, I don't know. But this line is tend to give black some, I think, headache. It's not easy line to play against. So okay, it's not easy, that's why I don't recommend you to do this. Okay, back here, sorry. So the thing is that, it depends on your taste and what you want to do. But for me, so what I always tell my students is that I think accepting the gambit sometimes is quite tricky, and sometimes you need to know the theory as well. If you want to make it safe and play solid, so obviously, trying to decline that, or maybe take the pawn and give it back, maybe a good thing to do. But that is like only my choice. You can choose something different as well, if you know the theory, right? Yes, I mean like, I think this line is the easiest way. So for the people who want to play against the King's Gambit, this is the good thing to do. I know that. I know that as well. Okay, so any more question about the opening? If not, so I will try to come through the middle game right now. Any more question about the opening? I may try to answer it all. No? Okay, so I will pretend that there's no question. Actually, in this slide, so what if d3 here? d3, d5. This one. And e5 now, you play this one again. And once again, I think you have a good position. The knight here, you know, is a really good defender of this pawn f4, and you're never afraid of that knight can be, you know, trapped or can be attacked. Bishop e2 here, you can play, I guess, like g6, I don't know. I like this move. And you can even play this one as well. It's fine, I think. Or you can play the same setup with the game. This one as well, bishop g7 and castles. And it offers you, I think, quite a simple play. Right? In the game, some opponent obviously was really surprised with the opening I play. He played a very natural move. But sadly, this is wrong. Knight e4. I mean, I don't see anything so scary when I take the pawn. That's why I play this. d3. Now, actually, if you want to play the safest, if you want to play something different and you want to play something safer, this is good. Since now castles d5, and you put this move next and castles, and you simply up a pawn, up a free pawn, I want to say. This is good as well. If you want to play something, you know, really safe and don't want to enter the endgame, that's why. You understand? So here, I mean, d3, d5 is what I choose. Since I think it can give me an endgame that's quite easy to play. Text. Bishop f4, a6. And now start the question here. First of all, why do I play a6 instead of f6? First of all, f6 have the same idea, but it can always be easy attack with pawn e5. Second, the thing here is that, you know, here the bishop on e6 might not feel so safe. You know, he can always be kicked out by knight d4. That's what I don't like. So f6 here is the move that I think might be slightly weaker than a6. You understand me? a6, knight e5, bishop e6, knight c3, c6. The play seems a bit slow, but actually white get no way to make progress, and I simply get out of the pieces and consolidate my position. Castles, king c8, h4, knight d7. I mean, simply now time for me to bring in my pieces, my forces as well. Takes, rook d2, bishop e6. Okay, so for the guy who asked me earlier in the game, is that like you want trade material? Actually, when you up material, so trade is not a bad thing. But normally you want to avoid the different color bishop ending, since this is so easy to be a drawn. That is like the great theory. Is king 8 better than king c8? Actually, this is fine as well. Also defend upon f7, but I don't like this one, since I just got a feeling that it is not easy for my rook here to get out. But at the same time, it's fine as well. I think this is also a playable move. Hello Trika! Long time no see you, Trika. So in a game of king c8, h4 and d7, takes, bishop e6. I mean right now, so this is fine as well, but you cannot trade here. I mean suddenly now it's so easy to for drawn, like the bishop, different color bishops. always, I mean, offer you something you don't want to see in the ending. In the game, I play bishop e7, g3, rook d8. I mean, I'm fun trade things here since I'm pretty believe in the thing I can be able to get my pieces out really soon, and white get nothing to do, and nothing to prevent my maneuvers. Takes e5. That's a nice move. Bishop e7, knight e4, king c7. What I plan now is that 96. I played rook f8 here, and then slowly play like b6, c5. I mean, like, you can see the knight here seems pretty strong, right? But actually, he got nothing to do. I can slowly play like b6, 6 b5, c5, king c6, and I can push like g5, f6 later in the game, right? You can see here that nothing I can do here with his very, I mean, seemingly active pieces. You understand? Also here, I mean, in the game, I also see a small threat that I gonna show you this to d8, this one. But now this is certainly something we don't want to see, since now we got knight 7. Yes, I mean that's why you always need to be careful when your king is in the same diagonal of the bishops. And that's how it is. That's how it is. That I don't think you really want to see, right? So be careful. But if you play rook f8, you don't need to worry about that anymore. Knight rook f8 here, and you don't need to really worry for that anymore. Yes, I mean like g5 is 5 for sure. But once again, it is like your test. You can choose that line and you can choose something you can play as well. For me, so I prefer something much safer and I mean easier to play and to learn, right? Once again, that only depends on your test. That's what I want to say. In the game, he give me a free pieces here and he resign. But even if it's not that, so now I can slowly trying to maneuver, trying to activate my pieces and slowly convert the initiatives. When white, he can only stay and wait for me to make action. You understand? Okay, time for questions. I will try my best to answer every questions right now. If you want to ask me, I give you like 30 seconds to think about the questions. Yes, lunchtime right now. My mother actually is calling like hell. Now it's like nearly 1 p.m. my time actually. Okay, you wouldn't play c3 eventually to break up the pawn structures. I can hold this pawn here. I mean, nothing can attack this pawn. In the future, I might play c3 if it is necessary, but right now nothing is attacking that. So I may decide in the future, if possible, on if necessary. Second, what is black's plan to win this? You need to play slowly. I mean, like, maybe first of all, like b6, c5, king c6, and try and put the pawn in the queen side when white can do absolutely nothing against that. You can also think about the way to play g5 in the king side, but it is not that easy. So now I think the plan should be like c5, king c6, and slowly push the pawn and create a pass pawn in this majority, right? So trading how would you position your double pawns during your king side attack? King side attack? I mean, the king side attack have nothing to say about the double pawns actually, and about the queen side attack. So you can push c3 if you want to, or even b3 or a3. Both seem to be strong. Trading the rooks probably is not a good idea. It's fine as well. I mean, like when the rook is gone, you can even try and play this one and try and activate your king here. It's fine as well. I mean, simply his pieces have nothing to do. So even if you can trade the rook, it's still fine as well. But I think if you really want to, I mean, open up the queen side for your pieces, I think keep the rook on the board should be a good choice. Can white draw this? I mean, if black play badly, so obviously we can draw. White can even win if black like sacrificing material. But I mean, black should be really like in top here. But in the game he doesn't play correctly, give me free pieces, and that's why. Okay, I think that should be the finish, I guess. Hopefully you enjoy the lessons and you enjoy that. Peace.